we just had it. And then I would say wheat, uh, let's say 50%. So, and then let's go and check. And you can see immediately with the image is 50% of the size of that image. But let's get it a little bit lower to, let's say, 20%, so we can have more rooms. And you can see immediately we have this. And now what I want us to do is to add this H1 tag that is not styled already, but we are going to add it. H1 is for adding like headings. You know, we have these header sections. So we can also have another section that will be like a content section. And then we can have this H1 that say, welcome to Medic. And then we have this paragraph that can put all of this lorem ipsum and just generate lorem ipsum. And that's a good idea about this also. And you can see we have welcome to Medic, and then we have this lorem ipsum and stuff. And that's how it is. And you can just go on and on trying to see how can you bring this page by just asking questions. How can I style a button? How can I make my navigation bar doesn't have any bullet points? How can I have over styles? And all of these questions, as you are solving this problem one after the other, you start to see that the site getting open to you. Like for this search bar, what do you need? You need an input button. How can I have an input in this form? How can I add image over my input? How can I style the inputs? You know, all of these questions, you already know all of these things because the designer, you've been designing them for the designers, for the developers. So you just need to ask questions. And today we have so many tools that can actually help you to solve this problem today. So that's the end of the demo, really, so that we don't take like so much of our time. Already, I know it's a lot of information and a lot of things I quickly show there, but I think the best thing we could do is actually ask more questions. So in that way, we are able to interact a little bit better, and we know where we are. So that's the demo. And you see, in the beginning, it could be very intimidating. It could be like, what is here? Well, these are components you interact with on the daily basis. So don't be scared. Like, this is a test with two different kind of styling. How can I have a test with different styling? You know, and you get a lot of help online with people that have been doing coding. There are a lot of communities and stuff that will help you to get it. So this is my strategy when you are stuck. When you're trying to do something and you're not getting the right answer, like try to understand the error, like go through the code itself. Most of the time, your IDE is like a helper, and they're really smart right now. We even have Google Copilot that is a programming, you know, like ChatGPT for coders, and it tells you, yeah, there's a mistake here. You can generate something here, and you know that's what I'm saying. This is the best decade to actually be a programmer because you can actually design beautiful stuff. Imagine when you can bring your amazing design and you can bring them to life. Sometimes you give your designs to developers and they screw it up. So, and I'm not saying like this, like pitching against developer and designers. Like I've been into both worlds. I think we can all work together. But sometimes you just need the freedom to design what you want and then create it. So, which I think is really great. And even though other platforms like that are great, but sometimes you just need to put that love into crafting what you want the way you want it, which some of these platforms will not give you the freedom to. And explain to yourself the problem. Try to understand what you're trying to do. And then if you don't fix it that way, Google it. If you Google and there's nobody that asked that kind of question before, then ask someone. Ask me on ADP list, message me on LinkedIn or any platform, or I have other platforms. We have a Discord channel that I can share that you can join and you can ask questions and somebody will actually point you to the right answer. And all of these resources I share, 9 of them, I think are the best resources online today for free for you to actually get started. Thank you. Yep, that's it. Any question?
But I have a
Yeah, I have.
question.
Yeah.
Go
Sorry.
ahead, Henry. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but learning some well HTML, CSS with all the website builder that are on the market. It's for understanding how the website builder works, or just to be independent. What is your opinion about?
Yeah. So if you've joined in the beginning, I gave an analogy about, when you start. I don't know. Have you been designing before? Have you been a designer before, or have you worked in
Yes.
tech for some time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So when we are beginning designers and we try to create something amazing, but you don't have all of those confidence yourself in the beginning, you start to like, maybe you see a mentor designer or some senior designers that you like their work, that you try to copy what they do, or you use some of their elements and styles in your work and stuff like that. So until you become confident of yourself and you start using your own styles, your own strategy, your own processes and stuff like that. So it's the same thing in programming, because if you look at all of these giants like Facebook like millions lines of code. If I also create projects that is like thousands lines of code, even personally. But if you look at it from outside, it looks so gigantic, like it's so many. Like you're like, how would I even start to build this thing? But if you look at what simple problem you need to solve, and then you solve those problems, like what we were building this landing page, you will be surprised if we spend more hours on it. We've built everything out, and you will see like hundreds of lines of code you've already written. And you look back in like 3 hours, you'll be like, wow, I did that. And that's exactly how it is. So there is nothing wrong if you actually check out a code of on the platform and see what they did and how they did it. You understand? And also, all of these no code tools are amazing, but the thing is that they give you the ability to do something very fast. You understand? And they take away the time you need to actually practice to build things your way and by yourself. So, and what you notice is that the more you build things by yourself, the more you have this library of codes that you can always reuse in your code. So it's just like every designer's like every project, sometimes you don't start from scratch. You have boilerplates, you have things you've created over the years that you can quickly use and reuse. The same thing as a software engineer, by the time you start writing more codes, the less code you start to write. And that's how it works. Hope that
Okay.
answer your question.
Yeah, you can say that.
Okay, so if there's any other doubts, you can definitely ask again. I'll be happy to.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah. Hello, Peter. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you very much for this amazing section. So, I'm not yet a developer yet anyway, but I really like figuring things out when I'm trying to build a project so that I can understand how developers think and how they interpret my design. Right.
Mm,
So, while you were showing us the design for the demo you did, you broke it down into different sections and into different components. So the question I want to ask you is when you're working with a designer, how do you like to receive the final design? Do you like to receive them as a single page, or do you like to receive them as individual components? Like instead of receiving like that full landing page that you showed us, you're receiving like a separate the header is separate with the navigations, the hero section is separate with the image and the text. So that's what I want to understand. How would you want, if you're working with a designer, how would you want to receive that file? Is it as a full page or as a separate component?
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good question. I know that's what is always in the mind of every designer. So, I would say if you're a designer, if you're a lead designer in your organization and stuff like that, this is the best process that I think I've worked with a lot of designers in the past. I'm a designer myself. I've led design system in companies and stuff. So what I think work is this. Number one, there should always be a handover kickoff for um, handover of a project designs, because in that section a designer and a developer can have understanding and the walkthrough demo, and they can ask like all of the questions they need to ask about, okay, what's the project about, this design, like analyze in the beginning, in that project we have a lot of these shadows going on. So I don't understand what the aim of the designer is. Is it going to be a complete big background on the back, or are they going to be separate components that I'm going to like stack on top of each other? So I need to understand what the aim is, because if I don't understand and I code that page in a way, and it wouldn't come out in a way that the designer wants, and then there will be conflict. So that's where the handover kickoff is very important, or handover meeting, or we call it, to be able to have that conversation, and you allow the developer to be able to answer questions from, is it doable, is it not, what is it like that. And when that is done, depending on the tools that the organization is using, so like Figma, for instance, Figma make it really seamless most of the time. So for most of my designers that use Figma, they just like give me like the uneditable kind of files where they've had like just like this is sign off. So because on Figma you can move projects around, and so when the design is ready for sign off, they move it into the sign off section. So you know that, okay, this design is complete and is signed off. So it's locked so that you can't change anything, but at least you can access all of the layers. So most of the times with Figma, I don't recreate all of those things I did right now on the Scalibro, is because I don't have access to the layers, right? But naturally, your designs should always follow the componentized layout. So when I'm doing my layout and file structure, I'm just using your Figma styles. Even if you're using Photoshop and SD, I think they follow the same convention. So, and if you don't understand like components design, I think it's a very good knowledge to have, and layout. And Figma actually have a lot of support for components, design system and stuff. So if you componentize your design and your stuff, hand over to designers should be effortless, and also have that kickoff with them to be able to allow them to have that doubt, and then put it in the handoff section, lock it so they don't tamper with your design, but they can be able to pick components and properties and stuff like that. So that's what I do.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hello, Peter.
Yep.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for the section today. It has been really helpful. Funny enough, I started my coding HTML, I think 2 days ago, using Code Academy, and
Right.
it's been going well. This is my 3rd day. Yeah, but what actually led me into coding was an issue I had with a developer, not necessarily an issue, yeah. I had with a developer, I think a few weeks ago. I was trying to design my portfolio website, just a simple landing page as a UX designer, and the outcome was not like what I designed. So I was not angry, but I felt disappointed. And that
Yeah.
motivated me into like, okay, why can't just I start learning this front end
So,
thing and all of that?
mm,
So one thing I'm also working in on a small company where we work with developers, and one thing is I like carrying the lead developer along. But according to what Raymond said, my question is in line with that. How can we, or I can hire as a designer, sorry, help the developer in such a way that handoff, or they'll be able to like understand things? Because my previous experience with this person that developed my website was not really good, because I explained, after explanation I give him the components and all of that, and at the end of the day it was like, what's going on? You get my point? So apart from the fact that you still have to like carry them along, explain to them, I still do some form of annotation. Is there anything that feels like developers need to know that designers don't take their time to explain to them?
yeah. So for me, actually, it's different from person to person, and sometimes it can really be hard. Some people, that's why every organization, it's important to have a language that they speak on. So let me give you a very simple scenario. So
Mm-hmm.
we were working on a project, and then we need to build. Is it a combo box? Like we need to build a box. It's just like a label, really. It's actually like a label. It's not even a form. It's a label that just, you know, so sometimes you have on a website you want to a label something an information to stand out. So she's trying to design it something like a capsule, like that. That is really cool. So, and I just felt like, and then that simple label was designed in such a way that it's really, really hard to replicate with design systems that we were using at the time. So,
Alright.
and I was trying to like explain to the designer, and the way I explained it, like it felt like I was, like sometimes you try to tell designers, they say, I have been a designer before, like you need to criticize our work with care. Because
Okay.
like I spend a lot of time to make these things good. So designers, and it because it's personal, because designs are what you can see. For software engineering, it's not really personal because the code can be messy, and nobody actually see that. But it's just that maybe you are not able to bring out. But for design, it's like you're not bringing what I want, and everybody can obviously criticize everything. So yeah, because of that, it's good to have these laid down rules of what is the design language we are even using to communicate. Are we communicating the same design language? For instance, you design your design using a random Figma design system, and then the designer take the design and replicates it with Chakra UI or with Material UI or with Bootstrap. So this all these UIs have opinionated designs in them already.
Of course.
So, and not most designers don't take the pain to be able to like, okay, we have to strip off and be able to implement our own in-house design system to make things work the way they should. So because of that, the first thing I would say, the ground rule is we are working on a project. Let's design what is the design language we are using to talk across this design. So if I'm using Material UI design, let's stick with Material UI design. If you're using Bootstrap design, let's stick with Bootstrap. If you are using iOS, if you are using any other design system there, I think that first of all make everyone to it reduce friction. You understand? It
All
reduces
right.
friction. If we are implementing our own in-house design system, let's do that. So I know that I'm implementing design system. I'm very sure the problem you have with that designer, with the developer, will be the language in which they use to interpret that design. Maybe you have designed a custom design and they interpret it with Bootstrap or with MUI, and there's no way you try to team it. You still have the elements of Material UI inside of it. You understand? Or you have to like deep
Yeah.
customization to make sure that it translates what you have designed correctly.
Of course, yes. I get that.
Yeah. So because of that, in every project, our company policy. So that's what I do. If I'm like, okay, for this project, maybe because we want to save time, we are going to the MUI. So I'll make sure I inform the designer, let's go with MUI. You can go to Figma, there is MUI resources, design system that is open source by Google. So let all of our designs maintain that language, and then we can team it to our own brand. So that way we have less work to do. But if we are doing a custom in-house design system, let's go with that. And let's put an allowance there that every component have been designed and tokenized so that when we are designing, it's not like we have MUI here, we have Bootstrap on the other side, we have, you understand that kind of thing. And then
Of
there will be,
course.
so if you have that language barrier solved in the beginning, secondly, always have a kickoff with them before and after handover. So before kickoff, we are designing maybe login page. Bring them on board, developer and you. This is the strategy for this design. This is what we are going for. This is the layout we are thinking. Do you think it will work? Is there anything you think can be hard to implement here? And they can be able to
Yeah.
see in mind. So when they do that, and then you can refactor, you can compromise, and then everybody agree. And then you go to implement. When you implement, before the handover, you have another meeting with them. This is the final design. This is what we have. Is there anything? Is it yes, yes, yes? Good. If they no, then we compromise again. We make changes, and then you put it in the handover section in Figma or wherever you put your handover, so that and you lock it eventually, so that they can edit, but they can go through stuff, and that will be much more easier. And any issue that comes after that, then yeah, there will be other ways to resolve that. Or that person is just like a difficult developer to work with.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Any other question?
Yeah, so it's from what you said, in essence, it's important for the designer and the dev team to first of all decide on what framework that the dev team will be implementing a design on, so that
Definitely.
while
Very
you're designing, you have that in mind.
important.
Yeah,
Very
makes sense.
important. Yeah, very important. Because most of the times I think the problem is when you do a custom design, most developers just pick a framework of their choice, their design system to implement, and there's no way it's going to fit. They will want to make it work with it, but it won't work. And there will always be that lapses, that edges, that's something that doesn't fit, and it won't be.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. Thanks a lot.
So,
Okay.
Peter,
Yeah, go ahead.
please, I have a question.
All right.
Thank you for the exposure. I am really blessed with what you have taught today. I want to ask, if you're just starting out, you're just a beginner, you want to embark on software engineering, you want to build a career in software engineering, and you want to utilize social media, I want you to talk about creating visibility. What is the right way to actually create visibility around what you're doing? Should you focus on learning? And if you are going to, think of a way to showcase what you're doing to the cloud, what is the best way if you're just starting out? What's the best way you're going to address that? Thank you.
So, yeah, I think that's a good question, and I think it is very helpful for every one of us. I've been in the tech industry for 15 years, so yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, I'm young, I'm just 35 years old, but I've been in tech long enough. I started out immediately out of my high school, but for the first 10, 12 years of my tech career, like, not a lot of people actually know me. And I didn't really take advantage of. If you look at my Twitter, my GitHub, I've been on GitHub, like I'm one of first 1 million members on GitHub. So, and maybe less than that. So, and it's interesting because all of those years, not a lot of people know me. Not a lot of people even understand what I'm doing. But I'm doing like amazing work in the community. Like I started the first tech meetup in Nigeria at the time as at 2007. There wasn't tech meetup like we used to have it now. I started one in University of Ilorin called Young Developers Network. So where I teach undergraduates, we come together and we talk about codes, technology, and stuff. And because I've been member of US Society of Black Engineers since when I was in high school, so I do get a lot of information from there. So I share those informations and a lot about coding and stuff like that. You understand? So, but because there wasn't visibility, like my work wasn't really like recognized like that. You understand? Until I have to learn it the hard way. We live in a space where, yeah, I know some of us are shy. I'm very, very shy too. Like most of the things I'm doing today, 10 years ago, I don't. I'm like, I just love to help people. I just love to do these amazing things. And that's all. But the world doesn't work that way. You have to be able to be visible, especially as for us as a designer, as a creative people. Yeah, your work, if you don't want to like show your face and identity, you can create a what they call it, a parallel identity. Like you can create something that may not like personally represent you, like if you want to put your face there, but you still need to publicize whatever it is. I know a lot of developers that do it. Like there is this guy that just created a new framework called ChatCDN. It's trending all over the developer community today. No one knows him. He doesn't use his name. And his work is so popular. Nobody knows the guy. You understand? So there are people like that. People that create Bitcoin research, no one knows them till today, but his work is all over the world. You understand? So there are people like that. So you can create, if you're like very, very shy. Like, but for me, like I use my name, I use my face everywhere. You understand? I have like huge followers on Medium now and everything. But all of on LinkedIn and every platform, but it's not, it doesn't just start that way. I just start from somewhere. I started with one article, you know, about how to I created a project on web development and stuff, and I started writing, and gradually I started writing once in a week, and I started writing sometimes twice in a week. And before you know it, on Medium, people started, can you write for our publication? Can you write for my publication? Can we feature your work? And before you know it, it started getting there and there. And also, I'm always looking for opportunities to like help, like what I'm doing right now. So don't wait until I'm a senior or you are heading or working for big organization before you can mentor. Like you can mentor with what you have. You can teach what you already know. Even if I were you, I would do a blog on what you learned today. How can you, like, there are a lot of designers out there that want to learn to code. So it's a huge market, and you could actually tap into that opportunity. Like Amira, for instance, you started learning how to code. Document that journey, share it with people. Like people want to understand that process you go through. When I migrated to the UK, and it was so hard for me to land a job, even though I've been in the tech industry for a while, I wrote about it. A lot of people have published the articles, like people have been put in a lot of places, you know, like documenting the journey, sharing what we've learned with other people, and also it gives you a lot of visibility. Also, it helps your career, it helps you to project, and you know, communication and all of these things. People, it gives you like authority for what you're doing, and I won't say there is a formula to do it, but the best way is you have to start from somewhere. Start from somewhere. If you're a designer, create a design library. There are a lot of design library resources out there. That's amazing. You can create your own unique icon libraries and publish it open source, and people will use it. You understand? So many things you can do. So many things out there. Start a YouTube channel, start a Medium channel, start a Substack, and write about things you know. And you see that you attract other people that will love to learn from you, and then this opportunity begins to come. Hope that helps.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, it does. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So
Thank
it's just in the place of helping, you know, when you help, more opportunities just come. Some of the first opportunity I got in tech was from Python. You know, I was a part of the Python community in Nigeria. And also I started the Django Girls, where we teach young girls how to code. And I was one of the founding members of Python Nigeria. I got like a lot of opportunity there. My first international all-paid travel was sponsored by Python Foundation to Italy. So there are lots of opportunities out there. There are a lot of open source community. People just want other people that could help. So if you are available, you see that a lot of opportunities will come to you. And before you know it, you can never tell where that, and it's give you a lot of opportunities, because being contributing help a lot. You know, I've seen a lot of people like, oh, I'm looking for a job, I'm things like that. Like, you don't have to wait until maybe you are laid off or something happened, and then you try to, like, if you put those community will lift you up, you know, when you need them. And that's why it's so great. Okay, is there any other questions or anything we missed out? Okay, I think that's it. We've spent like almost 1 hour, 30 minutes. That's really great. So yeah, this recording will be available for playback after this, and I'm going to share with everyone. So thank you, everyone. Try to practice what we've done today. So if I'm you take that design. I'll share it also in the mail to everybody, so that you can just see, take a template, a simple landing page, a buttons, and see if you can create something, and just share it with me and start from there. And before you know it, you'll be amazed what you're going to build. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time.